Part of the reason you're broke isn't because you don't work hard, it's because you're only doing half of your job. What do I mean by that? You may be great at earning money, but earning money is only half of the assignment because the moment you get your first paycheck, you received a promotion and no one told you about it. In fact, it's the most important wealth building job you'll ever have. Congratulations, you were promoted to the chief investment officer of your life, but no one stopped to tell you. And here's what's even worse. Unfortunately, the pay sucks and the training is terrible. Now, some of you are probably thinking, wait, what just happened? What are you talking about, Doc? Before I explain, let me just say one thing real quick. What is good, Stackers University? It's so wonderful to have you here with me today. You might have heard some of this before, but I promise you've never heard it this way, and I promise you will never forget it after this video. So if you've heard me say that every dollar is an employee, then you have some idea what I'm talking about. Look, your employer doesn't pay you because they're nice. They pay you because you create more value than you're paid for. And it's like the old adage, employers pay you just enough so you don't quit, which is why employees work just hard enough not to get fired. Regardless, employees are expected to produce, and that is the same expectation you need to have for every dollar, every employee dollar of yours. Their job isn't simply to exist, it's to bring back more employees by creating more value because wealth is built by having money that works for you. The problem is many of us are taking our employees and we immediately send them out to DoorDash, to Amazon, to $20 lunches, subscriptions. And as you know, once those employees leave, they don't come back and work for you. They're working for someone else's company, making them money. And here's the biggest problem I see. Schools and societies taught us how to be fantastic employees, but no one taught us how to become a chief investment officer of our lives. No one taught us how to acquire employees. No one taught us how to retain our employees, and no one taught us how to develop our employees. As the chief investment officer of your life, you have some significant responsibilities. And every CIO oversees three vitally important departments: employee acquisition, employee retention, and employee development. And I think most people get wealth building so wrong because they spend almost all their time focused on employee development, which is really focusing on investment. So your money can make you more money. And why not? You are the employer. Who doesn't want their employees working harder? At the same time, you can't neglect these two other critical employee departments: employee acquisition and retention. That's like trying to build a championship team without having players that are coming up through recruitment and replacing those that are graduating. Eventually, you're going to run out of talent and good players. So let's break this down with department number one: employee acquisition. How do we bring in more employees? And before you click off because you think, Doc, I don't have any money to invest, that's exactly why you need to stay. Because this department starts before investing. Before your employees can create more employees, you got to create employees. In the beginning, your greatest asset often isn't money, it's time. And this is especially true if you're currently in debt and trying to work your way out. And I know people don't like hearing this because we all like to say we don't have enough time or we don't have enough free time. But let me tell you, I don't really believe in free time. I believe in you have utilized time and unutilized time because somehow you still have time for Netflix, TikTok, watching the game. Those things are already spending your time. The question is whether you're spending it intentionally. As I heard an old hustler say one time, and I love this: if you woke up broke, your ass should have never gone to sleep. Now, while that's a little extreme, I do understand the point. And let me share something with you. By day, I'm an administrator. In my quote unquote free time, I'm a professor. Not that long ago, I used my quote free time to write a book. I currently use my quote free time to teach on YouTube. I don't do all this because I'm addicted to being busy or I need the money, though I do like the money, so don't get me wrong. But it's because I'm fully aware that time has always been my best asset, my first asset. And in fact, one of the benefits of wealth is that you often use your money to buy back your time because your time is more valuable than money. So here's the reality for most people. When you're first getting started, or you're trying to get yourself out of debt, or you're simply trying to accelerate your wealth building, you often have to do more with your time because you don't have as much money. So you should start by using that time to help you get more employees. That may or may not look like a side hustle, overtime, changing jobs, learning a new skill, starting a business, teaching, writing. I don't know what your gifts are, but I do know you have something that you can do because before your employees can create more employees, you've got to treat those employees first. When you get really good at it, eventually those employees start buying back your time. Now, let's talk about department number two, employee retention. And this can't be understated because it's all about one question: how do you stop your employees from leaving? Every smart company knows that it's better and more efficient to keep your employees as opposed to replace them. That's how I want you to think about your dollars going forward. Of course, some employees will always need to leave, but pause and think about all the ways in which you lose employees yourself. Like impulse purchases, unnecessary purchases, lifestyle creep, debt, convenience spending, and I can keep going on and on. Employee turnover is inevitable, but some of y'all are out here doing mass firings every Friday. Now, most people think they have an employee acquisition problem, and sometimes that's true, but employee retention has to be addressed first because it doesn't make much sense to spend all your time recruiting employees if they're constantly walking out the back door. Now, stepping away from the employee analogy for a moment, I want to be very clear. I'm not anti spending, I'm not against vacations or enjoying a night out in town. I don't want you living a life where you don't spend and you're miserable and you wait for some predetermined number and predetermined day to finally decide that you're going to live. And then you look back on your life and you realize you just existed for the last 30 years. That doesn't sound like fun to anyone. Instead, I want you to start focusing on three main categories of spending, and they are random spending, emotional spending, and image spending. Because if you just focus on reducing those three categories, you'll be amazed at how much money, how many more employees you'll be able to retain. And here's the beautiful part: you don't have to sacrifice the things you love. You just have to stop spending money on the things that don't matter. Because employee retention isn't about deprivation, it's about being intentional. It's about the intentionality behind your money. Now, let's talk about the last group of employees, those employees that ain't producing much. Every employer has a few of them. They're just collecting payroll, and that's where department number three, employee development, comes in. Every CIO needs to focus on efficiency and productivity. So, how do we make our employees a little more productive? This is where investing lives. This is where compound growth lives. This is where businesses, real estates, dividend stocks, and even your skills and your education all live. And don't let me forget to mention my favorite, precious metals, which I know some of you are right there with me. But today I want to try to give you two examples that hopefully open your eyes to some employee development activities that are often way overlooked. Remember, the goal is to find ways to get your employees to work just a little bit harder. I want you to actually think about this as you want your employees to be working a second shift. For example, I've chronicled my involvement in Monetary Metals Silver Bond, which is paying me 12% yield on my silver every year. And I know some of y'all still think I'm crazy for doing it, but here's the reality. Over the last 2 years, I've been paid 212 ounces of silver just for letting them hold and lease out my silver. So not only did the price of silver increase, but that interest of 212 ounces at today's price of $69 has made me an additional $14,628 in just a little bit over 2 years. Okay, so leasing out gold and silver is a bridge too far for some of you. Okay, I got you. Let's take a much simpler example, and that's available to all of us, and that's through the stock market. Let's talk about one of my favorites, Petrobras, which is or oil company out of Brazil. And this is really, I want to make us focus on dividend stocks because I think people overlook those. Take a look at this dividend yield chart. And over the last 3 years, I've collected dividends as high as 25%. And it's currently only paying me 5.65%. And I say that tongue in cheek because that's significantly higher than what you can get on T bills or T bonds. Now, let's talk about having your cake and eating too, because during those last 3 years, the stock has also gone up 43%. Now, none of what I shared is investment advice. Please do your own due diligence because that's just your responsibility as the CIO. I really share this because I don't believe enough creators actually tell or show you what they're actually doing. I share this because I want you to see there are lots of opportunities, but there are only opportunities for those who have accepted the role as the chief investment officer of you incorporated. If you don't accept that role, you won't see these opportunities. And before I move on, you're probably wondering, what did I do with those dividends? I put those new employees right back to work in that company, which brings up something important that is a huge difference between the various stages of wealth. The poor spend their assets. The middle class protect their assets. Wealth builders ask, how do I get my assets to produce more assets? I want you to start asking yourself that with every single asset you hold. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about stocks, bonds, businesses, real estate, gold, silver, or your use of your non monetary assets like your knowledge, your time, or even your relationships. Here's what you can't miss because it's far too easy to miss this. This isn't really about money. In many ways, money is just the scoreboard, and leadership is the real game. Wealth isn't built by people with more employees, it's built by people who accept their promotion and perform their duties as a chief investment officer to the very best of their ability. Because earning money is only half of the job, managing it is the other half. And maybe that's why so many hardworking people feel like they're working harder than ever and still not getting ahead. Schools and society taught us how to become fantastic employees, but nobody ever has taught us how to become a great chief investment officer of our lives. And maybe that's why so many people spend decades doing half of their job and wonder why they only got half of the results. Now, in the comments section, which department do you need to get better at? Employee acquisition, retention, or employee development? Also, which one are you pretty good at this moment? Or you can simply put an A plus in the comments if you want to show me some love, if you love wealth building, or if you just want everyone to know that you always stack smarter and never stop learning.